The will to win is important, but the will to prepare is vital. If the universe is making you wait, then be prepared to receive more than you asked for. Hi everyone, Therese here. Welcome to this week's Karma Cards. So I've been having fun recording for you some spooky stories. I've been recording spooky stories just in the spirit of Halloween. I usually, weirdly, am not into Halloween. I'm not really into Halloween, but I actually have always loved ghost stories as a kid. And so I've got a few little tidbits I'm going to be sharing with you on Instagram. So if you want, follow me there at Blythe Starlight brand to see what I've got in store for you. So earlier I was telling you about the importance of preparation. So I asked the team today, I'm like, what message do you want me to share with everyone? And the card that I pulled is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is a card that's telling you that the battles you've already won aren't quite over yet. Okay, we're not quite through it yet. So we've got to be prepared. And we've got to learn from the past. And in fact, when I pulled cards tonight, there was a lot about the past. So we're going to get deeper into that when we do the karma cards. But there is something to learn about the past. Maybe how you hadn't prepared in the past and how you could prepare now. So even though that has sort of an ominous tone, like be prepared, I mean, that's one way we could take it. But a way that I like to look at it, and a new way I've been looking at preparedness, is being prepared to get exactly what you want, which was the second half of my message, is that if you haven't got what you wanted yet, be prepared to get more than you asked for. You're going to get more of it. So think about that. If you have not gotten what you wanted yet, whatever it is you're asking for, whether it's more love in your life, more peace, more patience, more abundance, more friends, whatever it is, if you don't feel like that's come fully in for you yet, be prepared to receive more than you asked for. So good things come to those who wait, and those who prepare get exactly what they're preparing for. So I want you to think about that too, right? So there's this interesting kind of dichotomy about preparation. It's like prepare for the worst, expect the best kind of scenario. And I feel like that's sort of the message today. But in the case of preparing for what you want to receive, that means to get so sure that what you're asking for is coming, that you're literally making space in your life for it. You literally move into action because you know you're going to get what you want. So that's the kind of preparing we want to focus on. We also want to prepare and take care of ourselves as well. And we want to learn from the past. So we want to put together, how did we not prepare ourselves in the past? Maybe we didn't look at things, right? We were too busy focusing on something else, that we weren't paying full attention to everything going on. Maybe we don't have a plan or didn't have a plan, and it's time to have one for yourself. Like, what does come next? Or in case of blank, what would I do? So we're being asked to stop, slow down, and consider. And again, the action this week isn't so much an action of doing, it's an action of consideration, which means it's a stop, think, plan, assess, and move forward. Also, the Nine of Wands itself is talking about a culmination point. We're at the end of whatever this thing is that the Nine of Wands is talking about. So you can apply this to your own life, or you can apply it to the world at large. I feel like it works either way. But the 9 represents an attainment. But this particular 9 is saying also be prepared to struggle a little more first. There's something else that's coming it's like an unfinished business. And this takes me right into what my team's been telling me about what's going to happen before we move into New Earth. You can't take the problem with you. When we go to New Earth, whatever karma that you're attached to, it can't go with you. It's not a frequency match. It's too heavy. It will pull you backward in frequency rather than allowing you to lift upward. So at this point in time, I keep getting from the team like, everything's happening as it should be. There's no need to go into panic or fear. What you need to see is, how are you karmically attached? What do you need to work through? Is it feelings, forgiveness? Is it, is there some, especially forgiveness work? I had to stop there because my team's like, that's the one. So forgiveness work, forgiveness for self, forgiveness for other. You can't take that heavy, grudge-like, resentful energy upwards. It's literally going to pull you down in frequency. And see, now here's the thing that's interesting, is that, like I said, when we move our frequency upward, when we go higher in energy, we also polarize more to the positive. You have to, like, they both happen together. And the path narrows up there. So in 3D, because we have equal amounts of catalyst of positive and negative, notice we can kind of bounce up and down that spectrum of feeling. We can go to high, we can go to really low, we can kind of hang out in that kind of blah zone, the middle zone. But as you go up in frequency, you don't really go as low anymore. This is why, like, the new earth, the ascension timeline is called the paradise timeline. So that lower energy pulls you backwards in frequency. And what's interesting and what comes through in a lot of the spiritual text is that you can move up and down in frequency. We already do it. So you've been to 4th, you've been to 5th. Deep meditation, you've probably been to 11th or 12th or whatever else is up there. But notice you don't stay there. So the holding the frequency is kind of the next level skill, is to be able to set a frequency and hold it. But this also requires that dedication to the frequency. And that means you literally have to let go of anything that could pull you down, because you can get pulled back down into 3D. It will still exist. So 3D doesn't just dissipate and crumble and disappear. It becomes like another realm in and of itself. And we can be pulled from a 4th or 5th density down into 3D if we're still holding lower emotional energy or having karmic attachment to the old paradigm, to what has happened here, to what we're going through. And so it's really important that we do the forgiveness work, because that breaks the cycle of karma. It sets you free. And sometimes with forgiveness work, you can say at one time feels good, but you really know on the inside you're not done. I'm not done yet. I'm still pissed, right? That's okay. It just means that you have to continue to do that until you find those deeper levels of attachment where you're, many times it's not so much the forgiving of others. Many times it's the inability to forgive ourselves that still keeps us attached. So it's an important period of doing forgiveness work. That's what you want to prepare for. Prepare for the higher timeline. Prepare for new earth by releasing and forgiving and trying to have compassion and understanding for the experience that led us here. Because it is that culmination point of, like, what energy is telling me is like, look, you've been tested, you've gone through it, you've had to walk through fire. And this is that point where everything is coming to, we're at 9 out of 10, okay? So in the number run in the tarot, you go 1 through 10. It's really 1 through 9, 9 being the attainment portion, but 10 is like the next level up. So when you hit a 9 in the tarot deck, what they're telling you is you're almost there. You are 1 step away. And so that's what I get for us, that we are 1 step away from something bigger and better. But we've got to prepare. We've got to look at the past and learn from it. We've got to do that karmic work of forgiveness. And that reminds me that the next full moon spirit circle is coming up on October 20th. And you better believe we're doing forgiveness work there. We do it every full moon, but it's, since the message has been hitting home, it's like nonstop. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Set yourself free. Release your burden. we will definitely be focusing on that heavily in the next full moon spirit circle, the Hunter's Moon. So if you would like to join me for that spirit circle, go to this link and sign up for a seat. You will get a chance to do that work with us. You will get the recording, and of course there is psychic Q&A at the end of every session where I can answer your personal question with my team in spirit. So if you'd like to join us, go there. All right, let's go on and do some karma cards. All right, so for those who are new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how this works. I have 3 decks here: the planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for us this week? And I have 2 sets of answers, one in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you just tune into yourself intuitively and ask, what do I need right now? Do I need action guidance, or do I want to know what's coming, the outcomes of the following week? And you can just put that in the chat if you want. You can tell me. I love hearing like what people choose. So you can drop it in the comments if you'd like. And of course, if you want both, go for it. You can always choose both. So this reading is for today, October 13th. Ooh, 13. It's actually a really good number. All the way through October 20th, which is the full moon. And the flavor of this reading, we have the South Node. The South Node is kind of a bummer, but it's about learning from the past. In the sign of Cancer, which is related to the past. In the 4th house, which is ruled by Cancer, which is about the past. I think they want us to think about the past. I don't know. What do you think? Let's find out. All right. For those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to remember your feelings as you did in the past. So this is an important one. They're saying due to the forgiveness work you need to do. You need to go through those feelings of the past, possibly 18 months, maybe even longer if you've got some long-term stuff, because all of it has to get cleared. So it's not just about our current times, but maybe some stuff you've been holding on to for a long time, because the 4th house can deal with your past, right? So you need to go through and review those feelings. What are you still holding on to from the past that maybe it's time to let go of? It's time to forgive. All right, mental action at this time. Reconsider attitudes from the past about your home base or your family. So the 4th house and Cancer, that is connected to your roots, your family, where you came from. Many of us are holding on to stuff that happened to us when we were younger, and some people have a lot of stuff that they're trying to work through. There's a lot of drama, trauma, and pain that can be held in someone's past. And even though we might not always understand it from a human level, on a soul level, we knew exactly why we chose the experiences we went through, because it was developing us into the person we are right now and the person we're going to be soon. So it's time to sit back and reconsider those feelings. And then remember, feelings are feelings. They're not always the truth. It's how you felt about it, which shows you the frequency you were holding when you experienced a moment. Physical action. Now is not the time to use your intuition and do what makes you feel secure. Poop. Okay. The reason I say that is because feeling secure is not where you're going to do the work, right? You got to get uncomfortable. You got to go into some of those lower feelings. You've got to maybe re-experience a few things that you have been avoiding. And so, if you are a highly sensitive person, we're prone to just pull back and it's all love and light. It's all going to be good. It is all going to be good, but that doesn't mean we don't do the work. And so now is not the time to pull back into your shell like the crab would. Now's the time to get uncomfortable and feel those feelings. So it's called going through that ring of fire. You can't go around it to transmute it. You have to go through it. So you've got to feel it to heal it. And we're being called to do that in this week, is to do some feelings work. Allow ourselves to feel the things that maybe we don't let ourselves feel. All right, so now let's go into outcomes for the South Node in Cancer in the 4th house. So the past, and the past. All right, so the spiritual outcome at this time, there will not be intuition to protect what makes you feel secure. Kind of like the reverse of what was just said. You're not going to be able to pull back in to your shell. You're going to have to, again, put yourself in that uncomfortable place where you're willing to re-experience some of the maybe more painful aspects of the past so that you can heal them. And I don't mean re-experience like reinvest in the drama, go right back into it. More like an observer. Go watch the scene again. Try to see yourself, try to see others, try to see what you can learn about the situation. What can we learn about the mistakes we've made in the past? What can we learn about the mistakes others have made in the past? This is basically one of the components of shadow work. It's not always fun, but it is deeply therapeutic and very healing. Mental outcome, anxiety about attitudes from the past about support. Yeah, that's probably going to come up, especially if you're looking at early childhood or your roots or the family, right? So that's a pretty common theme there of maybe feeling unsupported. It might trick the brain into feeling it again. I know that it's very easy to tell stories about people. Now, this is something that we are trying to grow out of. It's something we've got to master, is that you know about yourself, that you have evolved through your lifetime. You are not the version of yourself at 7. You're not the version of yourself at 12, at 18, 21, wherever you're at. You're not that version anymore. You have evolved out of it. And so the mistakes you may have made at 12 or 18 and so on are not things you would repeat now because you've evolved. So we often expect for other people to acknowledge that we have evolved, especially family. And yet, do we offer them that same, what's the word I'm looking for? That same, going to say decency, but it's the courtesy, that's the word. Are we offering them the same courtesy that they have evolved? It's very easy when you're stuck in your stories and you're still attached to it, which means you still have a karmic imprint with it, to go right back to that version of that person and be thinking and communicating with that person at that level, that they have, they haven't evolved. They're sort of a static figure in the mind. And so you start relating to them that way. And when you go back into it, when you relive the story or you rethink the story, you're experiencing the person that way. And it's very easy to get upset all over again, to get more resentful and possibly angrier. And so this is a really tricky period. It is going to cause anxiety because it's going to kick something up that needs to be healed. So when doing this work, it's important to have in your awareness that, do I have proof of my own evolution? Yes, I do. Using that as my hypothesis, can I, scientifically guess that this person has also evolved since then? And the answer would be yes. They've also gone through some experience too. It doesn't mean that every person has the same amount of evolution, but we should be dealing with people in the present as they are, with what they are presenting, rather than holding on to the past. Now, that's easier said than done, especially if there are trust issues with that person, especially if you've had really hard experiences with certain people. It can be hard to let your guard down. And so it's not to say that you don't protect yourself or have boundaries, but that you try to open the mind and recognize that you have evolved, therefore they must have evolved to some degree as well, and try to meet them where they are instead of where they were. And when we do that, we can actually start to heal the past at the same time. Physical outcome at this time, trouble resulting from the history of your home and family. Yeah, so this is, again, I was like, I want to apologize on behalf of the of the cards and the team and everybody that this is not necessarily an easy time, but it is necessary. It is what sets you free. Just like imagine if there was a ring of fire in front of you. Just take a moment to picture that. You know, on the other side of that is something completely different, something better. There's an awareness that better is on the other side of it. However, imagine what your heart would be doing if you had to walk through that wall of fire into the ring. Probably be terrified, probably feel troubled, right? It's not easy, but it is the very thing that sets you free. And so we're being asked at this time to do the forgiveness work, to set yourself free from the karma, especially if you have your heart set on moving into a completely higher energy. It is there. We are so close. We are so close to this. I'm actually kind of shocked. I tell this to my friends all the time. I'm like, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it would come so soon in our lifetime. I thought maybe we would be quite a bit older before all this happened, but it's actually rapidly approaching. And so to move to and stay on a higher stream of energy, we have to release what's holding us down here. And so that's the work this week. Just know that we're all doing it. So no matter how hard it feels, you're not doing it alone. We might not be doing the same thing as you, but we're all doing it together. Trust me, all of us are doing it together. And with that, I'm sending you so much love. I wish for you a peaceful week, and just practice forgiving and letting go. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.